Okay, real quick before we get started in the tutorial, I wanted to tell you a little bit about the machine that I'm using. In this video, I'm using the Knit Quick machine by Michaels. You can buy it online or in their store, or if you want to support me, you can buy a similar machine off of or through Amazon. You can buy the Addy King, which is the same machine that I have, but it's made out of like metal pegs, so it's less likely to break and it's more durable. Or you could go with the kind of one that's the equivalent to the Michaels machine. So the links are in the description. Enjoy! Alrighty, so I'm going to do a real quick video on how you get started with the wrap. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to look in the side and you're going to switch it from T, which is tube, to P, which is panel. And then it doesn't come with any markings on it. So the first thing you're going to want to do with your machine is find the black piece. And then you want to mark the white bit that's, let's see, how many over is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you want to mark this with just Sharpie or something. So 4 over, and then 3 of these heads over. So you're going to mark all of these 3. And the reason that these ones are important is because they are the ones that are not going to have wrap on them. So it will stop, but it's good to just have the visual so that if the wrap ever goes to these, you just know that it's not supposed to. So to start the wrap, so then the next thing you want to do is down here are the tension things, and it's supposed to keep the yarn in place. The most important thing is that the yarn stay inside of this slat in here, and this kind of helps keep it tight. So what I would do is I would tie some yarn here to make the hole smaller, so that when you have the yarn, and the yarn should come through here, and it needs to always be like low in there and then here. So you want to have extra yarn tied around these holes just so that it's tighter and keeps the yarn tight and in this hole. So now that we've talked about that, we're going to go ahead and cast on. So what you do to start is you crank the wheel all the way towards you. So you're just cranking the wheel towards you, and then you want to start with the black peg just to the right of the starting dial. Then you're going to clip the end of the yarn and you're going to put it inside, and you're going to go around and you're going to thread in and out for the first cycle. So we're going to do so you don't hook the black one, but you go in front of the first one and behind the second one, and then you rotate it. So you're going to go in front, behind, and then in front and behind, and then in front and behind, all the way around. And you're just going to keep doing this till the end. I am going to pause this video and start up another video because it's going to take me forever to do it. If I only have one hand. Well, maybe not. Maybe I'll just keep going so you can see. But the idea is you're just doing your initial threading. So in front, behind, and I'm turning the wheel as I go, just to keep moving the pegs along. So in front, behind, in front, behind, in front. Good job, Asher. Behind. So I have gone all the way around and cranked the wheel all the way away from me, and I'm at the end, and I'm going to, the last loop that you should always do is loop behind the black one. So it should end behind the black one. If it does not end behind the black one, take it out and start over because you did something wrong. It probably just, you missed one or went the wrong way when you started. So crank it, and so it's behind the black one, and then you are going to feed it into the yarn channel thing. Can you see that? Hopefully you can see that. So you want it pulled in here, and you want to make sure it's down all the way and pulled in, and then you are going to hook it into your yarn thing. This provides tension and keeps it tight so that it doesn't slide out, because the last thing you want is for it to slide out, because then you'll miss stitches. So you always want to make sure that the yarn is unraveled a little bit, because otherwise it'll break the machine if you're like yanking. It should always be easy to move and rotate, so if it's not, then it's probably caught or there's a knot that you need to untie. So we have a little bit of extra here. And in the beginning, you want to make sure that you go really slow because it's the most likely to have holes the very first 3 or 4 times around. So all it's doing is I'm rotating the wheel on the side. That's how it goes. You rotate the wheel and it's threading the thread into the little keys. So you could go faster than this. It helps if you hold it steady on one side while you're cranking on the other side, because otherwise it just wiggles all over the place. Okay, so we reached the end, and notice this is where we've marked. This is the last one that should not have yarn on it. So when you get to the end, oops, I guess this one shouldn't too. Maybe I think my mark wore off on this one. So maybe it should have been 4 pegs and 4 things. So that one shouldn't have it either. So then we've reached the end and we're gonna start twirling the opposite direction. So then now we're cranking away from us and it's just feeding it into it and it's doing the yarn. Here we go, I'm gonna kind of hold it with my leg. Okay, we've gone to the end. It won't go any further, it's locked. And then we simply go back and it doesn't catch on the black, it simply goes back. So we're gonna keep cranking and cranking. It's catching my leg. So we're gonna go over, we go, it won't go anymore. So we come back. You don't really wanna go until it doesn't go anymore on this side, simply because of it goes too far. So now we're gonna come back. And this is all it is. After we get a little bit, so here it caught on the top, and that's gonna make it difficult for this to come all the way up. So you push it down, because you want the yarn to stay at the bottom. So now the hook is clear and you can go. And the ends are where it's most likely to have issues. So now we've used up all our yarn and we're going to pull a little bit more from our yarn ball so that there's more slack. Okay, here we go. So now we're gonna just continue and we're cranking and we're cranking all the way to the end again. It did good. And we're gonna go back. I don't know why that one keeps trying to catch. Here we go. And we're cranking. Again, this one, see how the yarn is riding up? Just push it down so that it can catch. And now we have a hole here, not a hole, just a knot. So we're just going to undo the knot because obviously you can't have a knot in your thing. So I'm going to turn it off. So I undid the knot and it slipped out of the feed. So back in the feed, you double check that the yarn is still in this little black bit. It has to be in the black bit. And then we will continue. Oh, actually, it didn't catch all the way. It has to come after here. It needs to be going underneath it. And it wasn't going to. So here we go. Once we get to the next end, we are going to put a little clamp to add tension, and that's going to help everything go more smoothly, and you can go faster once you've added clips. So you're going to clip, and this just adds weight to the yarn so it pulls everything down so you don't have to manually pull it down. And you want the clips all around. I think it comes with 6 clips, but I've lost most of mine. So you just add the clips. All right, here we go, and we're gonna keep going, and we ran out of yarn, so we're just gonna unroll, play the yarn thing a little bit more so that there's slack, and we're gonna keep going. And then this is just exactly what you do until the end of the wrap. So push this down, make sure it's down. You might have to do that every time. And then you pull it back, it goes under. You go around and you can start going more quickly to the end. Pull it tight so it's underneath it. And go all the way around. This one needs to go down again. Let me move the clip over, that might help it a little bit. Here we go, it's going under, it caught. We have to add more yarn slack, and you just rinse and repeat, and it's the same as before. Once you have a bit of wrap going, you should switch your clips up to both ends on the sides, just so that it weighs down the ends, because they're most likely to have issues, and then this part's heavy enough that it keeps it down on its own. As you knit, the clips are going to go down because more wrap is coming out, so every so often you'll want to remove the clip from where it is and put it back up to the top. We have run out of yarn in the first ball of yarn, and so I'm going to show you really quick how we're going to add our next ball of yarn onto the machine. So you always want to make sure that you have enough yarn left and that you're ending on like the edge, never ever in the middle. It doesn't matter which side. So we're going to unthread the yarn that was in our first ball, and we're going to put it inside the machine, and we're going to get it untangled from the thing so that it's right at the very edge of your actual wrap right here. And then we're going to take a clip, and we are going to attach the new bit of yarn to the old bit, just right here kind of at the edge. So I'm going to use my clip and clip these two together, and that just keeps them from going where they shouldn't go. So now we have our new piece of yarn, and we're going to crank the wheel so that we're at the beginning, and then we're going to put our new yarn inside of the little yarn thing, making sure that it's fully down in the divot, and then we're going to put it in our hole that's been tied with yarn like we do, and then that'll stay there. And then we are just going to continue cranking just like normal, and that just adds the next one in. And then after we're done with the wrap, we'll come back to this place and we'll just do 2 knots, just like a normal knot, and then another double knot, and then we'll snip off the excess, and it'll just kind of disappear at the end. Okay, so we have reached the length that I am happy with, and we are going to get it off the machine now. So I took the yarn and I cut a length that is approximately like 1 circle of the machine, and you always have to end it when it's pulled all the way close to you. So I threaded the end of the cut yarn with the needle. I think they provide one. I bought extras because I was always losing mine. So what we're going to do is we are going to very carefully put the yarn in the center of the machine, our little yarn and needle, and then we are going to start cranking away from us. Now this is going to drop the stitches, so see, it dropped the stitch, and we don't want to lose it, so we're going to take our needle with the thread and we're going to come up from the bottom and have it on the needle. And you can pull this all the way through, or you can just do a little bit, and then you need to do it kind of slowly and carefully, because if the next one comes off and you drop a stitch, then the whole thing can kind of unravel. So you just do it carefully, and then you'll repeat with all of them, slowly cranking away as you go. Alrighty, so I finished taking it off of the machine just by threading it through. Now I'm going to stretch out the end so that it's about the same length as the piece of yarn, and then I'm simply going to tie a knot at the end with the yarn. That way it keeps it secure and in place, and then the wrap is done. We're on the very last step. We're going to go back to the beginning of the wrap, and I threaded the extra thread with a needle, and I am just going to do the same thing we did earlier. I'm going to just go into the yarn and tie a little knot so that it doesn't unravel, and then I'm going to cut it off, and we'll have our completely finished wrap. It only took a couple hours from start to finish, and can be good forever.